Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2 action. We are back at Katowice 2024. We got Trigger going up against the GuMiho god on Hecate. You know, the one with the hybrid bases that is leaving the pool pretty soon. And GuMiho going for a proxy Rax. Getting one gas as well. Trigger going for his Reaper wall off here. And now looking to be taking a Nexus. Second gas for GuMiho. So let's see. Probably going to be getting a factory shortly after this. But we'll see what GuMiho decides to follow it up with. I mean, probably just not going to be a fast second CC. That's for sure. 3 workers on both gases. He's kind of shouting early factory play. Trigger, though, going for a probe scout here. Gets his wall completed for the Reaper. Sees no CC. Gets up the ramp here. It's like, yo, what? Hello? Did you forget your barracks? Oh, no, you did not forget. You made some gases, and this could very well be multiple Raxes somewhere on the map. Factory going down. That kind of... at least dashes that suspicion for Trigger. It's like, okay, there's a factory that's 100 gas. It's a bunch of minerals as well. Probably not going to be like 3 Raxes out there on the map. And now Reaper actually coming back, so it was just a hidden barracks to be cheeky for a little bit. SCV actually in a little bit of trouble. Does get back. No, does not get back to his friends. Oh, no-y. Couldn't quite make it back to get repaired. Probe does go down. Reaper took that probe down with a vengeance. Shoot battery starting up for Trigger here. Where the GuMiho is delaying his expansion a little bit. We see the Cyclone coming out. This is the boring Cyclone that just always shoots. Never breaks lock on. Basically a Goliath. Kind of. Starport coming out as well for GuMiho here. Is he gonna go for mine drops here? It's kind of what I'm seeing, right? We have a reactor, we have a factory, and we have a starport. We do see 1 mine coming out on this factory. And on Trigger side, we see a pretty gosh darn fast Twilight console. Second gate coming up. And what is he going to do with Twilight? Is this going to be Blink? It looks to be Blink. It is Blink. Looks like Blink, smells like Blink. It's probably Blink. Oh, Reaper? What can you do there, buddy? Nope. Access denied. Only sees the front. It does not see the second gateway even. Third gateway being added on, so Trigger just playing it safe here. Knowing that he's probably slightly ahead in the economy front, which is definitely true. See a tech club coming out now from the factory, probably going to be given to this barracks. I guess he could make a siege tank. A siege tank would be pretty nice on this map. Since he has it rallied, I kind of expect a siege tank now. Yep. Two mine medevac drop coming into the natural of Trigger. He spots it with a probe that puts down a third base. Did he see it? He did see. And now the medevac already half health. 4 stalker shots only bring that mine to about 40% health. So 2 probes do go down over there. Or well, 1 went down to the third base and 1 went down in the natural. Third one goes down in the main. So that's 2 mines for 2 probes. That's not very good for GuMiho. Pretty good for Trigger over here. See 1 tank, secondary tank coming out. Ooh, a Liberator as well. Now we finally get Stim started here a little bit before the 5-minute mark. GuMiho just chilling on his 2 base. No upgrades, aside from Stim, obviously. He's not getting +1 for anything. We see a Robo here at the front for Trigger. Still on his 3 gateways, adding on an extra gas. No forges just yet. So he's gonna put on a little bit of pressure with his Blink Stalkers here. I don't know where that 1 Adept went, but We saw an adept just now, but I don't know where it went. Oh, it did die. Maybe it shaded into the natural. Siege tank. It's that stalker, and that stalker's like, oh, rightio. Nice micro here by Trigger, putting the stalker in front, but actually gets unsieged there. This tank. 2 unsieged tanks fighting the Link Stalkers. Now one of them does get sieged. And Trigger shaves off a couple Marines there, but does take a bit of hull damage on the Stalker. Stalkers could perhaps get a couple good shots on the tanks. Instead, do lose 2 Stalker lives for, I mean, a little bit of tank health. Not the greatest result there for Trigger. Third base underway for GuMiho. And we'll probably see an engineering bay. Oh, there it is. Pretty soon after. So this pressure is pretty committed. But he is macroing behind it. Now, Trigger, are you ready to receive this attack from GuMiho? You haven't seen a third base from him. And you saw a bunch of tanks. Now, nuclear battery has been committed. Oof. Tanks actually pretty good at killing stalkers through nuclear battery. That makes it pretty good units by themselves. And look at all this Marines and Cyclones just shelling down the third base. I don't know if he should be committing here. Commits another stim to really thin out the Stalker count, but it's also kind of going the other way around. It also thins out the Marine count quite a bit. But this third base is getting clicked down, yes indeed. And Trigger now on 2 bases, losing 13 probes here in total. This Liberator took 11 kills, so I feel like he did most of the work here in the back whilst this attack was going on. And now we get a bunch of siege tanks here that can't hit the Nexus, but this is a very annoying position. They can hit the Robo. Oh no. Trigger, this is going from bad to worse to you're probably dead. Look at the army supply. GuMiho is doubling that of Trigger right now, and there's nothing at home. It's all across the map here for Trigger. 15 probes dead from this harassment, and I mean, all of the Zealots going down. Stalkers almost completely depleted. 4 more Stalkers, and a 4th siege tank joins. This one's still standing strong with 8 health remaining. And I mean, this is just a matter of time here for GuMiho to clean up the last of this Prototss forces. Oh, the blink forward into getting shelled into the face by 4 siege tanks was not a winning combo here for Trigger, but does end up cleaning up all of the siege tanks. I'm honestly surprised that happened. We see a third base going down for Trigger, but he lost 19 probes in this game. He's behind in workers. His third base is only just starting, and GuMiho has a third base landed and is now saturating it as well. Armory coming up as well. +1 almost done. Do we have combat shields? Yes, we do. And concussive grenades also coming up. This seems like a pretty rough one. Even seeing double Liberator being added on here. GuMiho's like, I have 4 medevacs, that's fine. Boosts out these Marauders to go after these Blink Stalkers. Wow. Nice Blink Micro, keeps that alive. That Ursidon got what he deserved, allegedly. And there we go. 2 of those Liberator boys, or girls. I think they're female voices at least. Don't want to assume the gender, of course. Third base for Trigger now just finishing up, and if you look at these red arrows, 3 arrows up means that it's a big mineral income advantage for GuMiho. Some units getting cleaned up there again. Trigger losing more army units. He really wanted to do a small run by into the third base, maybe keep GuMiho back. Liberator in the natural, Liberator in the main, and shoving his army into the center position of Trigger, and he's just kind of getting pulled apart here. Look at that army just kiting out all of these Shark Zealots. Oh, decent hit there with the mine. But Trigger is forced to GG out. We see 2 Liberators. Was going for a robotic support bay. Maybe Disruptors can do something, but this was a toughie for Trigger, losing his third base there, and then just, well, just kind of came crashing down from there. GuMiho is up 1-0 in this best of 3. And GuMiho, after taking game number 1, is now in a nice position to close out this best of 3. 2-0 already on match point in this best of 3. Getting his barracks on his ramp to change it up a little from a last game. And we're here on Oceanborn, which seems like a pretty decent Prototss map at first. Getting a pretty easy third base, but then getting that fourth base is kind of annoying. Do you get this one? Do you get this one? Both of them are kind of annoying. This one is especially annoying because of this ledge over here, and even this high ground. Like, if the Terran is committed to making some siege tanks, they can definitely bully you out of that position, and as soon as that happens, siege tanks over here... yeah, that's not good. It's not fun. I think I saw that today in GSL. Creator versus, I want to say Björn? That is exactly what happened. We had a bunch of siege tanks there. GuMiho going for the CC after 1 Reaper. Only 1 gas, so not going for that super fast factory follow-up. And maybe he just doesn't make an add-on right away, just makes a singular Marine. Then he does kind of have the gas to make a factory here. Goes for the Marine, and now he has 100 gas left over. So, yep. Victory on the field. Let's see what Trigger's doing right here. Chrono boosting out an Adept. Is this a wall at all? Doesn't look like one. He just wants to put an Adept there, and then it becomes a wall. I kind of like that, I think. Kind of baits him into going up, right? It's kind of nice. Reaper does scout out that there is indeed a natural. Second gas added on for GuMiho, instantaneously saturated as well. And we see a Twilight Council coming down here for Trigger once again. He's aggressively chrono boosting out units here. Not really bothering with the, what is it, Gateway Research. And now we see the Depth Scout coming out from Trigger. Now he sees that this expansion did indeed finish up. He sees the reactor, doesn't see any additional buildings. I like it a lot when Terran players don't put all their tech at the wall. I can understand that you want to if you want to swap add-ons all the time, but like this is just so much nicer, right? Trigger just doesn't know what's going on here. Like he can assume, but the assumptions are always dangerous. Stalker is here to ward away that Reaper. Nice Stalker positioning. We get 2 more gateways and a robo. 4th gateway as well. So that's a 4-gate robo with Blink from Trigger before even thinking about a third base. And he's warding away that Reaper really well. So I doubt that it saw the third base location again. So now GuMiho playing a little blind here. Doesn't know for sure if there's a third base from Trigger coming out. We see a Liberator coming out. 2 additional barracks for GuMiho. Killing those goddamn rocks will pay for their insolence. Now even Warpism coming out. Getting chrono boosted as well. This is going to be a pretty committed attack from Trigger. Once Blink is done and he has a Warp Prism here, he can blink into the main and go do some damage. And what does GuMiho have to deal with it right now? Nothing much. GuMiho gets his Reaper onto the third base location, does see a bunch of Stalkers and no third base. Is he going to build bunkers? He's building an engineering bay in an interesting position. He's putting down a siege tank here. And Trigger is going across the map. Blink about to finish when the Warp Prism arrives at the other side of the map together with the Stalkers. Well, super nice timed out. Nicely timed out or well done. Pick one. And there we go. 4 more Stalkers being warped in here. And how many Stalkers are we now at? 11 Stalkers. If there was a lone siege tank over here, it would be very sad count for him. But instead, the Stalkers go to the bottom of the natural base, so not even bothering going into the main. In case the GuMiho was waiting for that. Instead, he goes to the bottom of the natural. Fights only the bio and the SCVs. Blinks down with all of them right away. Wow. Actually, only losing one Stalker here. I feel like he could have blinked back a couple less. But decides to go back with most of his Stalkers, making sure that he doesn't get stuck there. And probably had to deal with this annoying Liberator as well. At home, only losing 2 probes to it so far. Oh, Stalker gets out of range. Nice. It's kind of a cute little dance that these guys are doing over here. Oh no, one Stalker does bite to dust. And another Stalker did get sacrificed. Big blink in here by Trigger. Killing both of the siege tanks there. No, only one. But there was only one. Question mark? I thought there were 2. Am I crazy? Well, at least one of them did die. And that is not good for GuMiho. No siege tank to anchor him in any potential fight here. Does have one Widow Mine. That can get a pretty decent hit in. No bunker still. And, oh yeah, he swapped off. So no additional siege tanks at all here. Now these Stalkers, look at that. 3 more Stalkers. GuMiho is probably like, oh shit, that's a lot of Stalkers you got there, brother. What is this? And Trigger doing some very nice micro there. Slowly but surely trading out here with the bio army of GuMiho. And GuMiho is losing actual units here, whereas Trigger losing mostly just shields and a little bit of hull. Turret did end up giving vision of that Observer. Wow, Medevac and Marauder get sniped. Third base in the meanwhile for Trigger has been warped in. You see charge halfway done, +1 started. Robo support bay. And Trigger looking way healthier than he was looking in game number 1. Scan coming out from GuMiho. It's like, what are you doing? I thought you were a macro man. But, I mean, Trigger's pretty gosh darn aggressive. If you have to assume one or the other, it's definitely aggression. Third base is underway for GuMiho here. Going to be building another reactor on his factory here. Might be for an additional barracks. Might actually be for some Widow Mines. We'll see. Some Zealots trying to run back in. Cause some havoc and trouble at the same time. Don't really get much done. Here come the Stalkers once again. 12 Stalkers can do decent enough damage. One more Marine does get shot down. Another War Prism drop, or the same War Prism with a new drop. Moving on out to the natural of GuMiho here, who's adding on another barracks here. Oh, the reactor was actually for the starport. Cool. Third base for GuMiho going down, immediately taking more gases. Kind of surprised that he feels like he's gas starved. Oh, and we see Colossus coming out here for Trigger. Thermal Lance halfway done, +1 about to finish, and a secondary Colossus is almost halfway done. And I feel like once you get that third Colossus, you want to move out across the map. Then you have Thermal Lance, you have +1, and you might be able to do some swipey death beams onto the Terran army, and especially those juicy Marines. This looks like a lot of Marauders, though. 17 Marauders through the 15 Marines, so GuMiho is kind of in the know here. Did he scout? No, he did not scout, but he might have seen the first Colossus just now, but I did not see him see it. Maybe he just likes going Marauder heavy, even versus Gateway Man type of styles. It's not like he saw 2 gas on the third either. But this is what we got. 3 Ghosts coming out to aid by chucking EMPs onto the Prototss forces, which of course makes them lose a lot of potential health. Or effective health. Widow Mine goes off onto the Zealot. He goes back to Ire. Or does he actually die that time? I'm not completely sure on the lore. Trigger, please delete 2 Zealots from your control group. Set them into the mineral line and then take a fight. Oh, committed his charge, and that's kind of when you need to decide. Do you go or not? GuMiho takes the fight now. Got some decent EMPs, but the swipes from the Colossi doing a lot of damage here, and the Viking count has been thinned back out to 0. Weren't a lot of Vikings to begin with, but they got taken down by the Blink Stalkers. And look at this potential from Trigger. Just keeps on shaving away units from this Terran army. Decent army supply here from GuMiho, though. Trigger getting up his 4th base. Wow, Trigger actually just decides to leave. He's like, I like shaving away at your units, but I feel like the Viking count's getting a little bit too high. You have a lot of stuff. And I might just want to add some more, you know, some better units before I do anything more. Maybe add a Disruptor. Yeah, there we go. Double Robo. 2 Disruptors are on our way. We even see a Dark Shrine coming up. +2 attack. Just now starting. So Trigger was kind of trying to get something done there. Although he also did take a 4th. So maybe he just forgot. +2. It's possible. And putting down these pylons on the edge of the map. Making sure that he can see drops. You can also put down a Nexus. That'll also help you see drops. Maybe not in the way that you want to see them. But it definitely works. GuMiho, though, kind of turtling here on his 3 bases. Getting a sensor tower. 4th base underway. Getting 2-2 up as well on his engineering base, which are kind of randomly scattered around his base. Just more barracks being added on here. How many barracks? 5 barracks with 3 more, so that's going to be 8 racks. Actually puts down a 5th CC as well. GuMiho is going to be big shilling here. Just going to take it very slow and steady here versus Trigger. Both players now maxing out. Trigger taking his 5th, might take a 6th soon as well. I feel like he has a little bit more map control than GuMiho does. DT Blink. Very cool. More ghosts coming up. Even air attack on the armory also coming out. Fusion core coming out as well. Let's see what happens here. Probably going for the... What is it? The ballistic something? Long range ballistics. The Liberator range upgrade. Oh, EMPs do go down. Here come all the disruptor balls. Oh, that's a lot of marauders that just floated up back to the surface, question mark. Gravity's really weird sometimes. Oh, it's buoyancy. But I don't know if, you know, how does that work? As soon as you die, suddenly you can float, but if you're alive, you're suddenly too heavy. I guess Prototss souls are just very heavy. Oh my god, that was a big shredder there from GuMiho. Do you see some decent... Oh my god! Oh no! Oh, the disruptor hits! Oh, getting some pretty decent hits there, but the Vikings are doing a number onto the Colossi. GuMiho needs to very, very swiftly replenish his bio army here. But he does stay alive here. How many disruptors? 6 disruptors. 1 more underway. This one is, well, outed himself real bad there. 5 disruptors now on the map. 2 more being constructed. Nice. Medevac snipe once again. How many medevacs do we have? 4 medevacs only. And it's pretty difficult to keep your medevac count up if you are making Vikings, if you're making Liberators as well. Don't want to be losing those medevacs. That can really hurt. Stalker gets sniped by the Marauders. Oh my god. Zealot run by here, taking away half the army. Now the other side, Trigger takes a really good fight because of it. GuMiho just needs to react to those Zealots that are ransacking his 3rd base and natural base. GuMiho trying to max out here. Trigger's army looking a little bit bigger here. Caduceus reactor on its way, not online. Oh, 1 Viking goes down again. Trigger doing such a good job of shaving away at the air units of GuMiho, and he has limited production capabilities. Well, he does have 2 reactor starports, so it's not that limited. But there's definitely a limit. Also, they're just expensive units, right? 3/3 halfway done though for GuMiho. Trigger about to get his +3. And oh, he also had +2 armor. I think I've been kind of sleeping on that. Oh no, he does have a second forge. 5 Marauders and 6 Marines at a time together with 4 Liberators. I feel like these Liberators just have been consistently getting picked off by those Stalkers. Trigger playing this so well. How many Disruptors do we have now? 9. 9 Disruptors are here. And it's not looking pretty here for GuMiho. Look at how many SCVs he has at the 4th. That's a lot of DTs though. DT surround on top of the bio. Oh my lord. GuMiho. You Gumi got owned, brother. That was a really cool move there by Trigger. And now using the DTs again away from his army. And oh, that's a Widow Mines. Oh, no detection though. Now finally. Oh, blink. Oh, they are alive. Disruptors here. Throwing in some balls. One does get destroyed. These DTs still on the prowl. 12 DTs is apparently the magic number. One Widow Mine does get one Stalker, but then gets a Purifying Nova to the face. And now Trigger's army moves around to the center position here between the natural and the 3rd base of GuMiho. His army actually not quite in position, but there is a bunch of DT Zealot that they also had to stop. The PF gets completely annihilated by those units, and the main army from Trigger is now in the natural. All of these Disruptors now exposed, though, to GuMiho's army from 2 sides. Big sandwich action. But GuMiho, even though he's going to clean up Trigger's army here, look at the map. Trigger has a 5th, a 7th, a 6th, a 4th, and GuMiho just reestablishing his 4th base. So if Trigger gets a moment to breathe, gets a little reprieve, then he can definitely just muster an army that GuMiho can't beat. Already matching the supply again. And a couple more Warpins, and he definitely will match the army supply of GuMiho once again. Disruptor Balls coming out. Ooh, decent hits. How many kills? 7 kills on that Disruptor. Disgusting. Oh no, my 6th base. Call an ambulance. Oh no, another run by here from Trigger, killing a lot more SCVs. And GuMiho is now down to 24 SCVs. I feel like... did those all just die over there? I guess there were about 30 workers there, so... that was way more crushing than I initially thought. Oh my lord. Nuclear battery coming down. DT tries to hold the fort. But can't. GuMiho takes down another base of Trigger. But Trigger's also just taken down everything you love and own on this map of Oceanborn. Oh, 2 medevacs remaining here for GuMiho. 3, I guess. I don't know where that last one is. Oh my god, this SCV walks into this base and GuMiho is like, oh, you have another base? And this is kind of where GuMiho probably realizes, like, oh no, I don't have a lot of bases here. I'm actually surprised GuMiho has enough orbitals to get all these bases. I kind of assumed that this would be his main base floating over, but GuMiho actually had a pretty decent position and made some extra orbitals for himself, but Trigger just mass expanding all across the map, denying this 4th base over and over. And GuMiho, I mean, you know he has this base. We do have a Liberator here, 2 kills to its name. And we'll try and add a 3rd to that. Yep, gets a probe here. And GuMiho moving on into the natural of Trigger, but at the same time Trigger walks into the 3rd base. Little bit of base race action here. And GuMiho gets a big EMP onto the DT. Colossus pops out, instantaneously destroyed. But on the other side of the map, Trigger takes down the 3rd base. Kills a couple Widow Mines here. Who can get on whom's production first? And Trigger's natural does fall. 1 Robo has been taken down by GuMiho. And Trigger electing to go for all of the economy here from GuMiho. Taking down the 5th base that GuMiho had for a little bit there. But GuMiho is in the 4th base, is in the 3rd base. Two big groups of bio units are here to shut down the economy of Trigger as well. GuMiho down to 3 SCVs in total, and these 4 DTs are doing a number here on the bio, but EMP still pretty good, providing true vision as well. And these very, very red bio units are, I mean, how many? We have 4 medevacs in total. That's what happens when you keep killing all of his medevacs. You just can't sustain the healing. And also, I mean, GuMiho just had to keep stimming to kill as much as possible in this base race. Trigger went back after killing all of the mining bases. Now GuMiho has to fly back. Did another... Wow. Zeld run by here. Crushed the economy of GuMiho, and Trigger in kind of a roller coaster of a game. Look at all of the bases that he doesn't have anymore. He has a main, he has a 4th base, and he has like a 7th base. Versus GuMiho's natural main, and I guess the 4th base kind of counted. What a crazy game. Trigger, though, bringing us to game number 3. And Trigger brings us here on to Alcyone for the final showdown between GuMiho and Trigger here. Terran versus Prototss. Will we see the gold bases? Will we see the rich geyser bases? Find out next. Or it's like find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Trigger once again going for that Reaper wall. Let's see if he leaves it open a little bit again, or that he fully closes it. Does use a pylon here. That feels a little bit dangerous. But maybe you just can't wall with just 2 buildings here. Core goes down. This does kind of feel like a full wall. I feel like Prototss would probably have nightmares of them accidentally rallying a unit inside of this pocket and it just being stuck there for the whole early game. Nice close down here from GuMiho, making sure that... Look at that. Trigger can't exactly know what is going on. All he sees is a Rax and 2 depots. No CC. Doesn't know what's happening behind it. And what's happening behind that is 2 gases, so rather fast factory. GuMiho going back to what he was doing in game number 1 did end up working really well. This pylon, you have to know as a Prototss player. Apparently, this somehow blocks the Reapers from coming in. Doesn't look like it does, but I'm pretty sure it does. And will we see another Twilight Council or console from Trigger? This looks more like a Stargate position, but I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really look like anything. I do see 150, 150, and it is indeed a Stargate. Nicely timed out build here by Trigger. Reaper trying to get some work done. Gets on out of here. And now Adept does go across the map. Secondary Reaper was built. Wow, okay, 2 Reapers, GuMiho. Jeez, chill. Trigger tapping his Nexus for good luck. It's good practice to do. Oh, this 1 probe does get a little bit of hull damage there. Secondary Reaper is in the natural, or in the main. Hitting some of these probes. The other one comes back into the natural. And oh my god, this one in the main is being pursued by 2 ghosts. The Riddick ghosts. And one of the Reapers does get taken down. Did it actually scout? It didn't scout the Stargate. Are you kidding me? 1 kill on this Cyclone. How many Adepts have died? It's only 1 Adept. Okay. So the Adept just died. 2 GuMiho Cyclone here. We have our first Phoenix coming out. We have a Robo coming out as well. So Phoenix Colossus coming out from Trigger here. What is GuMiho gonna do? Is he gonna hit him real fast with an attack, or is he gonna play that game where if he loses 1 fight and has to pick up inside of his medevacs, he basically loses the game because Phoenixes will kill all of his medevacs? Oh, GuMiho here. Pretty early move out. 2 mines, a cyclone, a couple marines, and a medevac. So you're gonna go and try and pick off all of these buildings with this small ragtag force of units. That would be kind of cool. Wow, this medevac kind of securing the mines, but Trigger does see it. This pylon does get taken down. And the gateway is next. Trigger does attempt to repower. Now GuMiho gets all of his units up into the main base. This is a little awkward here for Trigger. Adepts can't quite decide what they want to do. And in the meanwhile, this gate is about to go down. We do see a new one coming out. No extra Phoenix is being produced. We do see 1 Immortal underway. But Trigger just doesn't really have any units. The 2 Adepts are now almost home. But this little attack from GuMiho, I am really surprised with how much damage that did. That probe could not trigger the mines. These mines are being very, very annoying here from GuMiho. Adepts tank both of the mines. The Phoenixes run in, try to take down the medevac, and they will take it down. And, doesn't lose any of the Phoenixes for that as well. We do see Interference Matrix coming out for the Ravens. And that's going to be pretty rough to stop for Trigger. So even if he does get up... Oh, Robotics Bay, very awkward positioning in front here. But if the Colossus come out, like 1 or 2 Colossus is not going to be enough because they will get Interference Matrixed by the Raven. Even Immortals getting Interference Matrixed is super annoying. Oh no, the Cyclone, the natural predator of the Phoenix, as I call them, because they are very, very annoying. Just slightly too tanky for the Phoenixes to really deal with. We do have 2 Immortals here. Those boys are pretty tough. And I believe the Cyclones are armored. But 5 Phoenix, 6-1 being added on, and the first Cyclone is coming, or a Colossus coming out. Oh, you have 2 Ravens that can both Interference Matrix as soon as they do have the energy. I think it does cost like 100 energy? It does cost, yeah, 100 energy. 3rd Raven underway. Oh my god, GuMiho. More barracks as well? No, oh, there is a 3rd base on location, actually. Oh my. And Trigger about to lose his shield battery here. So no shield battery overcharge at the 3rd base for a little bit. 1 Interference Matrix was used on an Immortal, and GuMiho actually pulling back here, not pulling the trigger. No pun intended. +1 coming up, stim coming up, and combat shield, so sooner rather than later GuMiho can go for another aggressive move here, but in the meanwhile Trigger does stay alive, gets his 3rd base, and more importantly can now get up to a critical amount of Colossus and Phoenix to actually complete his composition. We see 3 Immortals here. There's 1 Sentry, I think that's very cute. Secondary Sentry added on as well. I mean, Guardian Shield is just super value. Force Fields can come in a real clutch, especially in this tight area sometimes. And even just like, I mean, 2 Force Fields basically make this ramp unusable. Even 1 in the middle makes it a little awkward. And since the Terran doesn't really have access to massive units, like they have Thors, but, you know, you're not going to use Thors. They don't have a spell that can break it like Corrosive Bile can. Like, you can't break Force Fields with EMP, for example. So Force Fields stay pretty value, but of course you do have the medevac, so you can kind of like get over stuff. Marines have decent range, but still, they have their value. Another Colossus coming out. How many Colossus? 1 Colossus only here. For Trigger, no secondary Robo as well. So he's kind of like transitioning out of this Phoenix Colossus meme, and he's going into more of a gateway style. Getting a Templar Archives. Interference Matrix is down on the lone Colossus. We get that 1 Force Field, and 1 is good because it threatens another one, right? And if you can throw down 1, and this army then doesn't want to move up anymore in fear of the second one, you don't have to throw the second one. So 1 Force Field accomplishes the same as 2 or 3. Although, sometimes you just spam them out because you're totally panicking. Now, where are the Phoenix? 4 Phoenix remain, and they get found on the map here by GuMiho. Get a couple shots off onto the Phoenix. Oh, his army is in the middle of the map, actually. Really aggressive. Do kill a couple of reinforcements, but GuMiho is in an awkward position. Taking that center. But Trigger does reconquer it. He's slightly behind, but, I mean, 4 High Templar do come out right now. And he's not researching Storm. So, are these going to become... there you go. Storm is underway. So, it's going to... Oh, feedbacks onto the Ravens. Really nice. Oh, Immortal. Oh, that hurts. Oh my god. Oh, GuMiho taking really nice pop shots at the army here of Trigger. And even Interference Matrixes 2 of the Colossus gets the Rio Cannon off as well, lowering the armor by 3. That's -3 armor upgrades, basically. And Trigger decides to pull it. Goes onto GuMiho's army here into 4 Freedom Zones. 2 more arrive as well. And the Trigger kind of gets a decent trade. Still has 3 Colossus left, but how is he going to deal with all of these Freedom Zones? The Liberator range upgrade is about to finish as well, and +2 for the vehicle's ship weapons, aka the flyers, is started as well. Storm almost completed. Do we have any High Templar? No, we do not have any High Templar. Nice hold position onto these Colossus. Take down a bunch of the bio, and look at this. Trigger slowly but surely has to move back, and these Liberators have range. So these Stalkers can't really get in range effectively unless GuMiho oversteps a little bit with his Liberators, but he has 6 here. You do have a Disruptor coming out, but how do you defend that against an army? You don't want to go through this corridor of death that you kind of helped to create. Doesn't blink on top of the Liberator's pussy move, because now he's forced to go through it anyways. Most of the army of GuMiho was hitting your Nexus down there. And how many Liberators? Still 6, but I imagine more are underway. 4 Vikings at a time, though, and this 3rd base is about to fall. Trigger needs to do something here. Blinks on in, and now there are actually units waiting for him. And that was a total disaster. 4th base for Trigger is down, though, so maybe he can recuperate here. But GuMiho also already sitting on 4 bases. How is this guy going to deal with all of these Liberators? Trigger has been trying to bank on his very nice Stalker movements. And last game, he showed some really good Stalker movements. Another -3 Seeker Missile does go down from the Ravens on top of the army of the Prototss. Oh my god, look at the carnage! The Disruptors and the Immortals together, and the Colossus just destroying the bio here. And Trigger pulls it once more and runs across the map real fast. We do see a medevac with a couple units going towards the 4th base here. Going to be wreaking some havoc if Trigger doesn't have any warp-ins, but he does warp in 3 Stalkers here. Sees the medevac, very nicely done, and that's now walking into the 3rd base of GuMiho. It's like, what do you got? And both of them are on 80+ supply. One, oh my god, the Colossus got instantaneously sniped by the Vikings there. And that's what +2 flyers will do for you. GuMiho expanding to the top here. Trigger making sure that there's no 4th base over here, but does he know? No, he does not know anything. Tries to force his way into the 3rd base here. Can probably assume that there is a 4th base over there. How many Disruptors? Only 1 at the army. Only 1 on the field. Secondary is going to be finishing. We only just now see a secondary Robo starting on up. Yeah, only running off of 1 Robo here. Oh, tight spot there for Trigger, but he does get away. How many Liberators do we have? 5 Freedom Fighters. Oh, 1 Disruptor does get a ball off. Doesn't get a good hit. Gets spotted by GuMiho. Was a nice heads-up play there from Trigger when he noticed that his Disruptor was kind of out of position there. Oh my god, he tries to get the wrap around. Disruption Nova doesn't get a great hit. All of these Vikings just landing. The Colossus are all dead. And Vikings do amazing damage versus mechanical units, which is all of the Prototss minus Zealots and High Templar and Archons, I think, a Dark Templar. But a lot of units are mechanical, including probes, by the way. Landed Vikings destroy mineral lines. The Archons now going in. We haven't seen a singular storm all game long. And that feels bad, man. Third base, again, down 4 trigger here. This Archon literally just dancing around, hasn't shot a shot yet. Finally asks her out on a date, but she shoots him down. She's like, no, I want to keep my freedom. And GuMiho takes game number 3 and this best of 3 versus the NA Hope and the Prototss Hope in this tournament in Trigger. Since, you know, there aren't a lot of Protosses in this tournament. Especially in the playoffs. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this little cast. I hope to see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.